Well, good evening. Welcome to Pastor Michelle's Bedtime Stories. Tonight is Friday, August 22nd, and let's get right into it, shall we? So let's start with the Bible figures. So as you know, we're in the New Testament now, and tonight we're going to hear about two people that you probably know who they are, Joseph and Mary. And so here's a picture, the Annunciation of Mary, and then you'll see a young mother, just a little statuette. And so let's hear about Joseph and Mary, shall we? So, not long after Gabriel appeared to Zechariah, here an angel was sent on another mission, this time to Nazareth in Galilee. Here lived a girl named Mary who was betrothed to a man named Joseph of the house of David. Gabriel appeared before Mary in her house and said, "Do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God." The angel continued and said that Mary will conceive in her womb and bear a son, and she will name him Jesus, and he will be great, and he will be called Son of the Most High. The name Jesus, or Yeshua in Aramaic, is like Joshua or Hosea, and it's in Yahweh, and it means basically salvation. Mary said to the angel, "How can this be, since I'm a virgin?" "The Holy Spirit will come upon you, and the power of the Most High will overshadow you," the angel said. And to prove his point, the angel added that your relative Elizabeth, in her old age, has also conceived a son, for nothing will be impossible with God. Mary then set out to visit with her cousin Elizabeth. When Elizabeth saw Mary and heard her voice, she thought, "The babe in my womb leaped for joy." Matthew's gospel gives us Joseph's side of the nativity story. Where Joseph lived is not entirely clear. Matthew implies that he lived in Bethlehem, whereas John states that he hailed from Nazareth. When Joseph learned that Mary was pregnant, even though they hadn't been wed, he planned to dismiss her quietly because he was unwilling to expose her to public disgrace. But before he could cancel the wedding, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream and said, "Joseph, don't be afraid. Take Mary as your wife, for the child conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit." As Mary's pregnancy advanced, says Luke, a decree went out from the Emperor Augustus that all the world should be registered. The purpose of such a census was not to gauge the demographic makeup of a province, but to establish a detailed inventory of individuals and their property for the purpose of taxation. This was important because Roman governors outsourced tax collection to free agents. Without a census, they had no way of establishing whether or not these tax collectors were cheating. Because Joseph's family had come from Bethlehem in Luke's depiction of the events, Joseph had no choice but to take his pregnant wife and set out on the long journey to Bethlehem. When they arrived there, they found that all the inns were full. The only shelter available was a stable, and there Mary gave birth to Jesus. And she wrapped him in bands of cloth and laid him in a manger. Soon a group of shepherds arrived who had been sleeping in the nearby fields until summoned by an angel to go see the Messiah, the Lord. And so here's a depiction of the adoration of Jesus. You can kind of see it. And according to 1st century CE historian Josephus, almost everyone in Galilee was involved in agriculture, given the exceptional fertility of the Beit Netofa Valley. Josephus lists 204 towns and villages in Galilee, so the total population must have ranged between 150,000 and 250,000 people. Nazareth is not included in this list, which suggests it was a small hamlet that depended on the markets of Sepphoris, the nearby capital, to sell its produce. And so tomorrow, my friends, guess who we're going to learn about? That's right. We're going to learn about Jesus. So maybe a little bit more, not as much written, actually. I thought maybe it would be a lot more. So just a little known fact in case anyone cares. So a few years ago, I think it was 2-3 years ago, I was getting ready to I was preaching on the Magnificat. I don't know if I said that right. When Mary proclaims in one of the Gospels. And for inspiration, I was thinking about virgins and people who, miraculous virgins, and, that kind of topic, I guess. And I started watching, in order to help me with my sermon, I started watching the show Jane the Virgin, because that show is actually about a woman named Jane Villanueva, and she is a virgin, and she gets pregnant by being artificially inseminated. Like the doctor accidentally artificially inseminates her with, yeah. So and because of me, I fell in love with that show, and now it's become one of my favorite shows of all time. I recently just rewatched it, and if you've not watched it, I would highly recommend it. But as I read about Mary, I think of Jane the Virgin. So anyway, that has nothing, that's not very biblical, but just wanted to share that. So tonight, our Disney story is from the Disney classic Cars. And it's called, and our story of the night is called Mater in Paris. One lazy afternoon, Mater was listening to music. Suddenly, the music stopped and a voice spoke to Mater through the radio. It was a British secret agent, Holly Shiftwell. Hello, Mater. Sorry to startle you. I'm contacting you because Finn and I need your help. We're in Paris tracking several lemons who escaped from the World Grand Prix. Will you help? Sure thing, Mater said. Love to. Suddenly, steadily, the spy plane landed in the middle of Main Street. Mater's best friend, Lightning McQueen, drove up. Mater, what's going on? I'm going on a secret mission to Paris. You want to come too? Lightning agreed, and the two set off to meet Holly and Finn. We've been tailing these lemons for a while, but they keep getting away. Them lemons are tricky. You just got to learn how to think like them. If I was a lemon, I'd make sure I had plenty of spare parts, yeah? Brilliant, said Finn. You and Lightning can visit the spare parts dealer at the marketplace. Holly and I will head to the markets on the west side of Paris. But Lightning and Mater were too late. The spare parts dealer had been robbed. Them lemons were here already. Then Mater spotted a trail of spare parts on the ground. The pair followed the trail all the way to a nearby cafe where Mater noticed two strange-looking cars. One of them backfired and his grill fell off. It was a disguise. Lemons! Their old exhaust make them backfire. The lemons quickly fled the cafe. Lightning and Mater followed them through the city. Suddenly there were not one, not two, but 6 lemons surrounding them. Mater quickly spun his tow hook. He caught one of the lemons and knocked it out. Soon more lemons arrived. Mater had an idea. Lightning and Mater led the lemons on a chase all the way to the top of the Eiffel Tower. By the time they stopped, the lemons were exhausted. They tipped over. It was another great mission, completed by Secret Agent Mater. I don't know what my accent was for Mater. He has like a country-ish accent in the movie, so that's what I was going for. So anyway, God bless you all, and take care, my friends.